I am a teen female, the second of 7 kids, 4 girls and 3 boys. Our sleeping situation isn't ideal at the moment because we live in a 2-bedroom apartment. The girls share one room and the boys share the other, and our mom sleeps in the main area with the baby. I currently share a bed with my young grammar school-aged sister because my preschool sister is a bedwetter. My mom and I are saving for bunk beds, but it's a while off yet. Recently, one of my friend's parents couldn't collect her after school, and since my place was the closest to school, she came over. We went into my room where my sisters were playing, and she noticed the 2 beds and asked where I slept. I told her I slept with my sister, and when she asked why, I told her. Well, anyway, she went home and told her parents, who reported my mom to Child Services, who visited us. They said each child needs a bed of their own, and they'll be coming back twice a month for checks and stuff until we do. My mom and I are now really stressed, and I've been missing school to take extra shifts, so the school phoned family service reception. No idiots here. She was trying to help you the only way she knew how. A teenager who didn't grow up in poverty isn't going to have the best set of resources for that. But you aren't an idiot either for being frustrated. I think the idiot is a system that allows a family to struggle so much that a teenager has to compromise her future by skipping school to buy a place to sleep. I'm pretty sure the idiot here is CPS for demanding you get more beds but not providing any clearly much needed assistance to help you do so. I disagree. I mean, what system would fix this? Mom continues to have children for whom she can't afford adequate care. Are you suggesting the government provides such significant subsidies that everyone can have an abundance regardless of their personal choices regarding allocating their own resources? If she was a single mother of 1 or 2 kids and struggling, okay. But this lady has 7 kids and is still going, considering one's a baby. It's highly selfish for someone to continue having kids when they can't actually take care of them. Yeah, the idiot is the mother or possibly the circumstances in which she was conditioned, e.g. religion, which results in her having 7 children despite bad conditions. She's not able to properly support her children. And where is or are the fathers? There's a lot of missing info here, but having kids is a choice, and either the mother has made bad decisions or those bad decisions were made for her. I'm pretty sure the idiot here is CPS for demanding they get more beds but not providing any. They do not do that. I promise they gave the mother a website and a phone number for assistance. My gut tells me CPS is returning for more than just the beds, reasons that OP either isn't aware of, hasn't mentioned, or finds normal. The mother needs birth control instead of pumping out kids with random men who bail. OP, I'm worried for you. Not because of sharing a bed with your sister, but because a family of 7 is shoved into a 2-bedroom apartment and your family depends on a teenager's earnings. I must stress this, your living situation does not sound normal. That is why your friend told her parents, and that is why they called CPS. They did the right thing. Your mom clearly cannot care for all your siblings, and they deserve better. And your childhood is being ruined by a mother who needs you to work and miss school to pay for things. My 39 male wife, 37, came to me yesterday after our daughter, teen, left for school, looking like she'd just lost a family member and told me, I was walking by my daughter's name's room and I saw her struggle to get her pants on. I already knew where this was going. Yes, our daughter has gained weight over the past year or so, but it's not at this dire level where she's barely mobile and bedridden. What my wife has done in the past is come to me with these concerns, as she calls them, telling me about our daughter's shirt looking snug, or how our daughter's stomach looked bigger while she and my wife were watching TV on the couch together. My wife continued, those pants have never looked tighter on her. She's never looked bigger from behind. I told her I wasn't doing this. I'm not having this talk. My wife tells me our daughter is still getting fatter and that I don't care. I told her I care, but I'm not going to start a conversation on the foundation of her stomach is big, her butt is big. My wife tells me she's just explaining what she sees and that a teen girl struggling into her pants is a red flag. I reiterated that I wasn't doing this talk. She said we have to. I told her I was not going to discuss this again and that I didn't want her bringing it up and left the room. She said I was being demanding. Am I the idiot? Edit, I know my daughter is overweight, like 25 or 30 pounds overweight, I guess, which on that front, my wife's core concern is valid, but she's never discussed it with our daughter. I'm 100% sure our daughter knows she's put on weight. She eats pretty unhealthy food at school, and then if she goes to a friend's place afterward, they snack. Dinner with us is healthy. What she gets herself on weekends is unhealthy. She doesn't exercise. We have yet to see a doctor about it. You are the idiot. Do not ignore her being overweight. Her weight struggles will only get worse with age. You are responsible for her health, so her being unhealthy is fully on you. You and your wife do need to have conversations about encouraging your daughter to make healthier choices now, because the habits are way harder to break in adulthood and have more obvious consequences as the metabolism slows down and symptoms of poor diet and lack of exercise become more prominent. Don't talk about weight to her face, but you guys need to steer her in the right direction. By ignoring it, you're the problem. Dude's not the idiot. He didn't say he wouldn't discuss his daughter's health. He said he wouldn't start with the foundation of his wife trashing her looks. He may be concerned about her health if she's overweight, but that it's not his wife's concern, or at least not the one she's presenting. His wife seems overly concerned about how her daughter looks than her health. You're both being morons. Your wife doesn't need to make disparaging comments about your daughter's appearance to have a serious discussion with you about her health. You don't need to have everything sanitized to have the same discussion. Both of you need to come together, preferably with the input and support from the pediatrician, and figure out how to help your kid without killing her self-esteem. You're failing your daughter. It's only going to get worse. I have a teen son, Nate. He's been in this friend group of 5, including him, since they were about 8 years old. We're white and so are 2 other boys, but one is Middle Eastern and another is South Asian. This is relevant. It was Thanksgiving the other day and the 2 boys who aren't white don't celebrate the holiday, so I always invite them to ours. They usually come and it's always great fun for the boys, especially since Nate's cousins are much older or younger. I invited them for the past few years and they both came. My mom also brought her new boyfriend. I've never met him before and he seemed fine. He saw the boys in the living room and immediately went, "Now I know those 2 young men aren't yours." I explained to him that they were Nate's friends. He whispered something to my mom, but she just walked away. Okay, whatever. He stood by the boys the whole time, but they didn't seem to care and made conversation with him. I relaxed and left to do something. 20 minutes later, Nate comes up to me saying that Grandma's boyfriend is being weird, so I go to see what's happening, and he's interrogating the other boys about their true intentions with Nate and the rest of us. One of the boys jokingly goes, "Damn, you caught us," which sent him spiraling. I interrupted and dragged him to the kitchen, telling him he needed to leave. He was surprised, and I'm sure he was expecting me to at least give him another chance. But I've read enough stories to know that he'd say something even crappier later. Besides, I care about those boys way more than I care about him. He called my mom over and she begged me to give him another chance. She'll make sure he keeps his mouth shut. I told her I'm sorry, but I couldn't care less. She got extremely upset and said that I should send the boys home if they're so uncomfortable, plus it's a family holiday. I just shrugged, but she got annoyed and said if he leaves, she leaves too. I did hesitate, but ultimately decided she could leave too. Mom didn't take that well and said her boyfriend was just saying what they were all thinking, and it's about time those boys stopped infiltrating our family time. They left and I was still fairly confident until one aunt and her daughter said that it's true that they, and others, don't like that these 2 boys are at every Thanksgiving and sometimes Christmas, and it's a little suspicious, but it's not a race thing. They said it was pretty terrible of me to choose random teenage boys over family, but I told them they were welcome to leave, and they shut up. I don't know if that's what I'm doing, but apparently many of them feel this way. They all said I was abusing my power. I can't tell if I'm blind to it, but I don't feel like I'm abusing anything. Am I the idiot for choosing these boys over family? Mom won't talk to me either. Not the idiot. Aha, 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 aha. You were abusing the power by checking notes, deciding who is and isn't allowed in your home. Your mom's boyfriend was so out of line, and it was good for those boys and your own son to see an adult stand up for what's right, even if it meant Grandma was offended and left. If you'd let him stay, it would have shown you condone what he said. Does your aunt have any legitimate claims against the boys aside from their mere presence at holiday gatherings? We don't get to choose our blood relatives, but we get to choose our family. These boys are so lucky to have you. Thank you for opening your home and heart to them. If your aunt said it's not a race thing, how did she explain why only 2 of the 4 friends were the problem? And OP, you weren't abusing your power. That's hilarious. It's your home. They're abusing the fact that they're family. As the homeowner, you have the right to kick out anyone who is disrespectful in your home, which is what you did in the case of the boyfriend. Your mom left your house of her own free will. Well, whoever your mom sleeps with that week isn't your family either. Your son's friends have been with him for half his life and would be there for him and you when the rest of the cousins would bail out on you. Your family stinks. My siblings and I always brought friends home who had nowhere to go for the holidays. Many of them international students or people their parents had rejected, and everyone always welcomed them. So my husband and I just had a baby this year. We've set a lot of unpopular boundaries with everyone. One boundary set was to call before coming over to our house because my husband is gone during the day, and sometimes the baby and I will nap throughout the day if we didn't get much sleep the night before, which happens often. We communicated this clearly to everyone. His family didn't try to come over in the first few weeks, but after that they would come over at random times and call once they were 5 minutes away. Of course, I was asleep each time they tried. They tried about 3 times, so I couldn't let them in because I was asleep and had no idea they were there. His family was hurt by this. His mom only comes by now when my husband is coming home from taking his older sister home from medical treatment because his mom picks her up and takes her back home from our house. She'll usually just wait out in the car until he gets back and won't come in when he does get here. She'll make an excuse like, "I've been sick," or "I'm tired so I just want to go home." My husband is mad at me for this, but I'm not sure what to do about it. We told her to knock when she got here so I could let her in, but she refused to get out of her car. His family is also upset that I don't let them hold our baby. I've never rejected someone in his family when they ask to hold the baby. I always happily hand her off when someone asks. After all, I want her to bond with her family. My husband said tonight that I should offer. It never even crossed my mind that I should be offering. I love holding our baby. Offering isn't really a huge thing in my family. To add to the fire, I brought along my mother to my husband's sister's quinceañera about a month ago, and we all had fun, but they noticed that my mother was holding the baby a lot. My mom is constantly asking me to hold her anytime she sees our baby, and like I said, I don't say no when people ask. His family took this personally and didn't even try to interact with our baby after that. My husband and I ran into his mom today, and he asked her if she wanted to hold the baby. She rejected the offer, and she voiced that she felt unwelcome in our home and was upset about my mother holding the baby at the quinceañera when she didn't get to hold her at all, but she didn't even try to. My husband took her side, which hurt. All of these concerns were voiced to me all at once tonight, so I needed more context while they were happening. I don't want to have problems with him or his family. They've done a lot for me. Maybe I'm giving off a weird vibe somehow to them. I know I can be super socially awkward, but I feel like my actions with my family versus his have been virtually the same. I don't see how this could make them feel uncomfortable or unwelcome. What do they mean by offering? So every time his family is around, they want you to go up to each of them and say, "Hold my baby, please." Not the idiot. You have the right to set boundaries and they need to respect them. Your husband is definitely the idiot here. Apparently, I'm supposed to ask, "Hey, would you like to hold her?" My husband's logic was that he does that with my family. I like holding my baby and don't need to hand her off constantly. No, you are not supposed to ask people to hold your baby. This is not only absurd but also dangerous. Not everyone wants to hold a baby, and a lot of people have no idea how to hold or handle a baby. People get excited and act weird, and most people will say yes because you asked. I mean, no one wants to be rude to a new mom, and your husband needs to understand that. Lady, you're supposed to guess what your husband's family wants so you can delicately offer them what they want. Under any other circumstances, you'd find this funny. But you've just had a baby and understandably have very little energy for the level of telepathy your husband's family requires. He comes from this culture, so why not get him to run the telepathic interference? He can guess away at what his family is hinting at and proffer the baby at suitable intervals to appease his mother. You could even have an extra nap while all this hinting and guessing is going on. I love the way you laid this out. OP, your husband's family needs to get a grip. Calling before you show up on someone's doorstep is a common courtesy. Pouting because you, at first, didn't offer your mother-in-law the baby to hold. What, is the woman mute that she couldn't ask? And then refusing to hold the baby when offered is patently ridiculous. And this is your husband's family. He needs to straighten them out and defend you. Damn, you have my sympathies.